Good morning, everyone. My name is Ksenia Petrichenko. I'm Energy Policy Analyst with the Energy Efficiency Division of the International Energy Agency. It is unfortunate I could not be there in person with you or in real time, but it is my pleasure to give this brief overview of the role of energy efficiency in the global clean energy transition. To start, let's look at the trend in the global greenhouse gas emissions, which have been seeing exponential growth basically from the beginning of the 20th century. This year, they saw a mild growth of 0.9%, reaching a new high of 36.9 gigatons. Last year, we saw a significant rebound effect after COVID-19 pandemic of increase in global greenhouse gas emissions of 6%. And in 2020, we saw quite a dip of 5% due to COVID-19 pandemic. While the increase in greenhouse gas emissions at the global level is quite alarming, especially as emphasized by recent IPCC reports, and the speed of reductions is still not fast enough, we do see quite a progress since the adoption of Paris Agreement. Through policy and technology progress since 2015, we managed to shave off about 1 degree Celsius of projected warming. So we're moving definitely in the right direction, as is shown by our stated policy scenario, so the scenario which takes into account existing and planned policies. If we take into account the announced pledges through national determined contributions of Paris Agreement, we can decrease emissions even further by mid-century. However, this level is still not ambitious enough to keep us on the path of 1.5 degrees Celsius of limiting global warming. For that, we need to decrease global emissions by practically zero by mid-century. IEA issued a roadmap to such net zero emissions reductions, which you can see on the slide. This is basically a summary of the report, which presents 400 milestones across different technologies, policies, and sectors, which allows to reduce global greenhouse gas emissions to zero levels by 2050. To summarize, these milestones across different sectors include significant improvement into energy efficiency, massive electrification of end uses and technologies, and decarbonization of electricity generation through low carbon sources, including variable renewable energy. Energy efficiency provides about 1/3 of this mitigation potential in the net zero scenario by 2050. It requires that energy efficiency improvements double from about 2% at the moment to 4% per year if we're taking primary energy intensity as a proxy for energy efficiency improvement. And it needs to stay at this level at least until the end of the decade in order to match the ambition of net zero scenario. By 2030, it can help to reduce 5 gigatons of CO2 emissions just through energy efficiency related measures. If we look at the sectors, energy efficiency plays a key role in reducing total final energy consumption across the key end-use sectors, with buildings leading in terms of the magnitude of energy efficiency potential. Through energy efficiency measures implemented in building sector, by 2030, it can help to reduce total final energy consumption by about 1/4 and about 1/2 by 2050. The rest should come through fuel switching towards electricity, as well as behavioral changes, which include both changes through consumers' behavior, but also through automation of different processes, including digitalization and smart solutions implemented in buildings. Energy efficiency also helps to deliver energy security, which has been really high on the agendas for the past year due to the accelerated global energy crisis. Energy efficiency gains helped to halve the potential growth in the global energy demand over the past 6 years and resulted in reducing energy bills for consumers by about $680 billion this year. That helps to relieve the pressure which increased energy prices have put both on consumers and businesses around the world, and help to reduce dependence on fossil fuels and fossil fuel imports. In order to realize this energy efficiency potential, of course, we need acceleration of energy investments. As you can see, energy investments into clean energy need to more than triple in order to realize net zero pathway by 2030. If we look at energy efficiency and end uses, the increase in investments is estimated around 3.6 times by 2030 from 2021 levels, and it needs to almost triple across different energy investments in developing and emerging economies. In order to drive the investments towards more energy efficient technologies and options, we need policy development. At IE, we talk about implementation of a policy package, which is a comprehensive policy framework based on ambitious but realistic and measurable targets, and includes combination of different types of policy instruments, including regulatory instruments such as laws, standards, building codes, if we're talking about building sector, information instruments such as awareness raising campaigns, energy certification, energy management, capacity building programs and training, as well as incentives, both financial and non-financial incentives. And of course, the policy package needs to be implemented in efficient manner in order to deliver energy savings coming from the energy efficiency improvements. Not only end-use sectors need to implement energy efficiency, power systems also require quite substantial change and modernization. We can see that net zero pathway requires significant uptake of distributed energy resources and shift towards decentralization of the power supply. Technologies such as heat pumps, efficient electric water heaters, electric vehicles, rooftop photovoltaic systems, and distributed energy storage all play a key role in the net zero energy transition, but they also present issues for existing power system in terms of their stability and reliability of power supply. So solutions such as data management, analytics, advanced controls, and other digital solutions are essential for planning, operation, and maintenance of electricity system. Such solutions can help to increase availability of demand response of different sectors in order to react to the signals and information from the grid, and help to manage and balance the supply and demand of electricity. We estimate that such demand response availability need to increase by 10 times by 2030 in relation to the 2020 levels, and about half of this increase will need to come from the building sector. We also saw that building sector presented the largest potential in terms of improving energy efficiency. So we're also looking at the topic of efficient grid interactive buildings. So how can we make buildings not only energy efficient in terms of the building envelope and appliances and equipment that is used in buildings, but how can we make them more active actors in the electricity system, and how they can be equipped with digital and smart solutions in order to react to the signals in the grid and, for example, shift their energy demand towards times when electricity is cleaner and cheaper, generate their own electricity through, for example, on-site photovoltaics, and feed it either into energy storage or directly to the grid. We're also looking at the synergies between buildings and electric vehicles, as already 90% of charging of electric vehicles takes place in buildings. So electric vehicles will become a very important end use in the building sector as well. We already see significant signs of improving energy efficiency and achieving progress in this field. A substantial amount of investments have been mobilizing towards energy efficiency, especially in the context of energy crisis. Already 1 in every 8 cars globally sold is an electric vehicle. Heat pumps have been seeing a significant uptake, especially in Europe and other cold climates. Countries are developing standards and building codes to improve energy efficiency in buildings. We see that 31 countries across emerging economies and developing countries are developing building codes, and once enacted, the global number of countries with building codes will reach 111. We also saw that energy efficiency helped to increase affordability of energy services, and digital solutions and demand response tools are also picking up across different countries in the world. While we see the progress is happening, there are also challenges that remain, and we need a concerted action across different governments across the world in order to identify those challenges and address barriers. That will be the primary focus of our 8th Annual Global Conference on Energy Efficiency, which will be taking place in the beautiful city of Versailles in France this year in the beginning of June. More information is available on the website. If you would like to participate in the conference, please let us know. Last year we had a very successful conference in Denmark with 26 governments coming together and issuing a joint statement calling for action and accelerating the efforts on energy efficiency improvement across the world. Thank you very much for your attention, and I'm happy to address any comments you might have by email. Thank you.